Hello everybody and a very warm welcome back to my latest video. I do hope you're doing absolutely fantastic. Today I want to talk a little bit about, you guessed it right, the Degritter, or at least the new cleaning machine they revealed at the high end in Munich just a few days ago. The reason I'm doing this video is 24 hours before the high end started, my mailbox kind of exploded. Because at that time, Degritter announced via their social media accounts that they are revealing a new machine. And I got many mails. And some of you were very angry. Because in 2022, Degritter showed a prototype at the high end about a deluxe version of the, let's call it the Mark series, the Mark 1 and the Mark 2. And some of you wrote, or many of you wrote, well, I just recently got my Degritter Mark 2 like a month ago or in February. If I would have known that they would release the deluxe version, I might have waited. If you want to have more information about the deluxe version, which was just a prototype, I put a link for an article down below in the description. So before we continue, I want to point out one thing. I'm not an official by Degritter, I'm just an ordinary customer. I'm an early adapter. I followed Degritter since they began on Kickstarter. I had the Mark 1 for a couple of years, then I traded the Mark 1 for the Mark 2. So all what you are about to hear is my personal view, my personal opinions, and maybe also some speculation because there aren't too many information at this moment, today's Monday, available about this new machine. But because I got so many questions about it, I gathered together what I could find for information about the new machine, and we talk a little bit about it. I've got a nice cold drink up here and we're having a good time, and that's the most important thing. So then Degritter revealed the new machine, and I totally got the point from many of you saying, well, I would have waited. But, well, from seeing the first pictures, and also all the sources for the pictures are written down in the description below. So when I first saw a picture of this machine, I thought, okay, I see a document shredder. Where is the new Degritter? And actually there was the new Degritter. And then I instantly knew that this machine has a totally different target group than the Mark series. This machine you can easily put nicely on a shelf in whatever room you want. You have your record cleaned, and for a personal use, the Degritter is, for me, in my humble opinion, one of the best record cleaning machines available on the market. It's fantastic to use, and the results are fantastic. I say a lot of times fantastic, right? But it is what it is. And I put these machines to the test. For example, here's a picture of a record I found in an attic. And the owner of the house where I was in the attic to dig out some records just had some changes made in his attic. So there were people building up new walls and things like this. So there was sand and concrete. Yeah. So, and in my view, it is, if you pay a certain amount of money for a record cleaning machine, it needs to do the job. And that's what the Degritter did. So this was the record I put in the Degritter, and this was the outcome result. So I always had great results with the Degritter. This new machine, let's talk about the differences, is huge. So putting it somewhere on a shelf isn't an easy task. And I would say I changed the camera angles and we get a little into the pictures and information I got. So here we go. This is a picture of the prospect or the flyer you could get at the high end, and it was kindly brought to us by Raus in a Jazz, an upcoming German vinyl channel, and I would highly suggest that you check him out. He does some very decent videos, but he made pictures of this flyer. So as you can see, this is way bigger than the old Mark series, and this product is called Fonoteck. Out of whatever reason, I have no idea. So the first step is now wash and brush. So this is a feature which the Degritter or the Mark series is not having. The Mark series is not having any brushes. It only cleans ultrasonically. So this is a new feature with the Fonoteck. You have wash and brush in the first step. In the second step, you have the ultra cleaning process. And the ultra cleaning process will be, well, from an engineering point of view, I can tell you, but I think it will be absolutely the same with the ultra cleaning process we have in the Mark series. The next step is the rinsing process. You can do the rinsing process with the Mark I and the Mark II as well, but you have to switch the water tanks. You have one water tank with your distilled water and your preferred cleaning solution, and then you have a second tank with distilled water. You can switch this easily in the menu where you say, okay, I want to have a rinsing process, and then once the ultrasonic cleaning is done, it tells you, well, now it's time to change the tank. Then the rinsing process takes place, and that's absolutely the same with afterwards in step 4, the drying process. So as you can see, there aren't so many differences when it comes to the cleaning. We have the brushing, we have the included rinsing process because, and here are some features, we have 2 tanks. So instead of changing the tanks, it has 2 tanks included, one with the washing solution and one with the rinsing process. So we have the microfiber brushes, which we don't have, and also, like I said before, the ultra cleaning process, and we have a radiator for water cooling. If you clean like 20 records a day, so may some of you know I have a very tiny, small online record shop. And sometimes clients want to have the ultrasonic cleaning process, which they can book. And then I do, of course, the best possible way for me to make sure that it's the best cleaning process for the record is I use the heavy mode. If you use the heavy mode a couple of times, the water temperature in the tanks rise up. And the Degritter or the Mark series has a protection mode. That means that it switches off the cleaning process and starts a water cooling process if the water temperature reaches 35 degrees to make sure that no damage is being done to the cleaned record. This, of course, makes the cleaning process way longer because the water needs to be cooled down to be a temperature that the cleaning process can continue. With these large radiators, I think you won't have these issues. So therefore, I do think that this cleaning machine is not being made with private collectors or with vinyl record lovers as let's put it ordinary, just say private collectors as a target group. I do think that this machine, also from the size and from the feature it has, is being made for professional use. So that's why we have these large radiators, and also what I want to show you is the chemical filtered rinse water. This is also not a feature which is included in the Mark series. You have a tiny sponge filter which has a cleaning or a filtering process, and also I'm very often shocked how dirty this kind of sponge looks. So there's a lot of dirt, so you don't have that. You have a chemically filtered rinse water. And so that also means that you have to exchange these features, especially the filters, from time to time. This isn't something you would do with on a private daily use or on a weekly use or monthly use. I also think from the size, and we have a look now at the inside of the machine. So there you can see the filters for the water. As you can see, this is a totally different thing than the degritter, you have the radiators up here. So this is the machine. So you have a kind of view of the size of this machine. So this for me is absolutely for professional use, because I also think that maintaining this machine isn't as easy as with the Mark I or the Mark II. So here are some more detailed pictures from the inside. Let's talk about the price point, where I also think that this machine is for professional use. The Degritter Mark II has a price point around 3,000 euro. So I don't have an exact price point at the moment. I've heard different numbers, but all were between 6,500 and 7,000 euro. So therefore, I'm absolutely, it's like I said, my opinion, but I'm pretty sure that if we are talking about a price point like this, that we are talking about professional use. Also, what was written in one of the mails is, if I have a price point like this, I would have at least expected to have a record cleaning machine which can clean 5 records at a time. So this is also speculative on my part, but what I do think is that if you build a record cleaning machine where you say, okay, I have the best possible cleaning solution and I know that this record will be cleaned like 100% perfect. Let's put it that way. Why should I build a machine which cleans 5 records at the time, but the cleaning results are just 80 or 90% instead of having a perfectly cleaned record? So therefore, I think that they made this machine which cleans 1 record at a time to have a machine which cleans just perfectly. Also, what I've heard is that the cleaning time is way shorter than the time with the Degritter, and also, just rumors, I don't know if it's true, that it also can run 24/7. So these are for me very obvious signs that this machine is being done for professional use. So therefore, if you bought a Mark I or a Mark II, there's absolutely nothing to worry about. You have a perfect, great record cleaning machine for home use, and therefore the Fonoteck will be a new product line for professional use. I can only highly suggest, if you have questions, if you want further details, get in touch with Degritter. They can answer all your questions. They are the manufacturers of these machines and they know perfectly well what they build. If I read it correctly, I think that this upcoming Friday, Degritter will release a newsletter with more details about the Fonoteck. I'm sure that they will continue improving and we are getting new updates for our Mark series, and maybe one day there will be a deluxe version of the Mark series. I have no clue, but I do think that this is just entering a new product line for professional use. I hope I could answer at least some of your questions. We need to wait for more information coming from Degritter. And before I finish this video, here is some footage from the new Fonoteck machine. Stay safe, stay healthy, listen to good music, and I'll see you next time. Bye.
Überarbeitete Version herausgebracht. Oder hier das ganz neue Flaggschiff, das sogar für den professionellen Einsatz gedacht sein könnte.
You can in the system turn this feature off and only use this ultrasonic one. Yes. And vice versa, if you want to just very quickly take the most of the grime off, you can actually clean it